Hey guys, welcome back to Daily Duels. So I know that I said I was going to push this back to next week, but I decided, screw it. This deck is getting kind of tiring, and I want to go ahead and try a new deck. You know, especially a new deck that's pretty much being hyped by everybody and their mother. Just want to go ahead and test it out. So you're actually going to get double Daily Duels today. Right now you are seeing the deck profile for +1 Fire Fist, and at I believe 1:30 p.m. Pacific time, 4:30 p.m. Eastern time, you will be getting the episode of Daily Duels using the new deck that will be taking its place. So look forward to that. But anyway, it's time to do the deck profile. You know, good old-fashioned Daily Duels vibe and Y fashion. When a deck leaves, it's time to give it its farewell deck profile. And if you guys want to go ahead and test the deck out, make changes to it, you can go ahead and tell me what you guys think. So, as you can see, actually up here it says +1 hand job because I'll be giving my opponents some hand jobs. Pause. Like, Yu-Gi-Oh! Is just so full of innuendo. It's like, oh, I sacked my opponent, oh, I gave him the hand job, oh, I did this gay thing, and then, you know, it's just, instead of being really gay, we kind of laugh it off, because that's just the way us Yu-Gi-Oh! Players are. We're really like that, I don't know, we just have some really gay innuendos and stuff like that. Anyway, decide, you know, the deck still being called +1 Fire Fist is more of like a +1 fire hand, I guess. Pretty much in the aspect of things, when you add hands to any deck, it changes the deck, and therefore, since it's changed the deck, it deserves a name. It deserves its placement in the name. So, you know, if you're running, I'm trying to think of a deck other than this. Alright, you're running Madolches, and you put the hands, you know, Fire Knight's hand in the deck, it's not Madolche hand, because that's not the core objective of the deck, and therefore, because of the new playstyle of the deck due to the hands, they deserve to be added into the title of the name. Nimden did a video talking about how decks are called pure and what's not. So this isn't really +1 Fire Fist, but more like +1 Fire Hands, I guess. Anyway, let's go ahead and start with the deck profile. So of course we got 3 bear. That's a given. You know, we can't really run my opinion of a revived +1 Fire Fist deck. Of course, the deck kind of died and disappeared when Wolfbark got hit down to 1, but I decided to, you know, keep it going and try to keep the deck going by, you know, revitalizing it, playing more back row, playing more revival cards, and hopefully get the deck to work despite, you know, not having, you know, Wolfbark at 3. Run 1 Gorilla. Gorilla's okay card, you know. I use it sometimes just to go ahead and just throw, well, not throw the chair. He flips the table on some back row, and of course when he destroys a monster by battle, I get to go ahead and set a Fire Formation spell card, and, you know, help with my consistency. Next I run 1 Wolfbark. You know, Wolfbark went down to 1, of course, but he's still really good, and if you're gonna run any Fire or Beast Warrior deck, you should definitely still run the 1 Wolfbark. I'm talking to you, you know, Fire Kings. You're pretty much the only ones that are doing anything or really existing left, because everybody kind of stepped away from Fire Fist. So, Fire Kings, you know, enjoy the Wolfbark. You know, Fire Fist, +1 Fire Fist had to break the hell of it just to get it hit, so now it's at 1, and I think that's a good spot for it. I think Wolfbark at 1 is fine. Of course, we run the 1 T-King. Like I said, this deck is +1 Fire Fist, and you really can't get more asshole-less than T-King. You know, that's when you know that you're taking it to the next level of being a butthole by playing T-King. You know, just being able the ability to, you know, stop searching. You're probably saying, like, oh, well, you know that hurts you too. Just play it wisely, you know? Just play it wisely. You know, if you have T-King on the field, you're clearly not going to activate a Tenki or, you know, activate a pot, you know? Eventually, they're going to either not get around T-King and you win, or they get around T-King, and then you can start playing your searcher cards. So pretty much, T-King kind of slows the game down. This deck is a slower deck, so T-King can slow the duel down. And if your opponent tries to, he's a 19 beater, which is very hard to get over if you don't, you know, special summon. But you know, most of the special summons that you go into are inherent. Therefore, T-King can kind of tribute himself to, you know, stop the inherent summons such as Synchros or Xyz. So T-King, too strong. Deserves to be at 1. I know I see a ton of people like, oh, T-King can go up to 2 or 3. No, T-King is fine at 1. Do not underestimate a good Thunder King Ryo. He can win you games. Next we run 3 Fire Hand and 3 Ice Hand. Definitely this deck needs it, because as you can clearly see, there's not a lot of monsters, and the deck can have consistency issues, so it is good to go ahead and just play these deck fillers, which that's what they pretty much are, you know. A lot of the slower stun decks of the past, you know, +1 Fire Fist heroes would definitely love just to play Fire and Ice Hand, because they do have good effects. They do fill up the deck with space. I used to be running a Koa'Ki, but I'd rather go with Fire and Ice Hand because they just put in so much work when it's not time for Baron. As you can see, monster count is low, so good to have these guys in to help me with consistency. And that's pretty much all the monsters. So, you know, despite all those duels that I won, yeah, I only have 12 monsters. That's it. So, yeah. But when you really say 12 monsters, the deck is a little bit more consistent than that, because, of course, I have 3 Tenki. I wouldn't be surprised if this card goes down to 2 on the ban list, but I wouldn't be surprised if it stayed at 3. I don't know what TCG Konami wants to do. But, definitely Tenki is definitely what's keeping this deck alive. Like, if Tenki ever went down to like 1, then you can just go ahead and pack this deck up, because its consistency would just be too low. You know, just being able to, you know, get bear, summon bear, throw a chair, attack directly, get another chair, activate the chair, get a wolf bark, make attack, and just, you know, continuously just get pluses and get pluses, and being able to burn through your opponent's resources while you constantly stay in a state of you know, up on resources. It's just great for this deck. So that's the only reason why this deck is just so good. It's just a war of attrition. You pretty much just, you know, burn away all your opponent's resources until they pretty much have nothing left, and you just win, because that's pretty much it. That's why it's called +1 Fire Fist. We run 1 Goyoku. I don't mind it. I kind of like the 1 Goyoku. I decided to go with 1 Goyoku and 2 Lance. The thing with Goyoku is that I can go ahead and just, you know, grab it out of the deck. So I can go like, okay, bear attack directly, you don't play anything, because, you know, it might be like a warning or bottomless, but I already have my bear summon. Go ahead and set the Goyoku, flip it up, just put it on there, and then, you know, unless you get rid of the Goyoku, you can't play that card. So, definitely just a really great card. Run 3 pot. Like I said, the deck, consistency, 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 and that's what this deck needs. You can clearly see I only run 13 spells, so I really didn't feel like that was enough to run Summoner Monk. Summoner Monk is a little bit better now since people are stepping away from Effect Veiler, of course, but I just didn't feel like it was enough. I'd probably say when you're up to like 16 spells, that's when you should start considering Summoner Monk if you need consistency help. But I just felt like I didn't have enough, and I was worried, you know, that he wouldn't be useful as a draw. And you know what, the deck was just working fine as is. So you know, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. That's kind of how I am. So it was working very fine and consistent for the last couple of videos that it's been on Daily Duels. So I decided to just stick with it. So definitely 3 pots just helps with the consistency. I don't special summon every turn, and really I don't really special summon at all unless I'm using really Wolf Barker. I want to crash with some hands, but besides that, deck doesn't really special summon nor exceed in that matter. I mean, there's sometimes you know, we gotta exceed and do some stuff, but most of the time, nope. And then we run 3 MST because fuck back row, even though this deck plays back row. You gotta be a hypocrite. MST is great. We run 2 Lance. You know, Lance can block me from back row, and it can also, you know, during the damage step, Lance you, you know. So, just, you can count it as double-edged sword. Well, that has kind of like a negative connotation. You know, a two-sided sword, where I can use it to block me from back row. I can also use it to get my opponent, so it can be used offensively or defensively. Definitely a great card. It's been going down in play lately because of Blackhorn, because clearly Lance can't block Blackhorn, so, and also Wiretap. You know, it's been kind of the more favorite card lately, and you know, people are taking Dark Hole out of their deck, so Lance isn't as good as it used to be. But you know, don't trade him away. I'd say hold on to your Lances, because Lance will never be a bad card. It will always be forever that card has shaped a portion of our Yu-Gi-Oh! Today. Alright, next card is Dark Hole. Like I said, this deck is slow. Sometimes it's slow, sometimes it takes a while to pick up, so sometimes you might have to take some damage on the chin, and, you know, sometimes you might, you know, they might play a whole bunch of monsters, take damage on the chin, Dark Hole, and then summon a monster, and then you're already up, because Dark Hole, you know, netted you some advantage if you play it wisely. I still like Dark Hole. I probably wouldn't even take it out of my decks, whether it be in real life or on any of these decks on Vitamin Wire Daily Duels, just because I like having it. And you know, people are like, oh, you know, you don't want Dark Hole on the field, just use it wisely, you know. It's a safety net. I feel like it's a safety net. If I'm up on resources, I'm doing well, I'm not drawn to Dark Hole, awesome. If shit hits the fan, at least I got Dark Hole to keep me covered, you know. And if I'm on a losing state, you know, then just Dark Hole, you know. So whether I'm losing or winning, Dark Hole is always just a nice card to have. Right? And that is the spell, so let's go on to the traps. Of course, we're running the staples: Bottomless, Compulse, Warning, and Torrential. Lots of people saying these cards should move up on the ban list, and I say nope, they are fine at where they are. You know, Bottomless is fun, Compulse is definitely fine. Warning, some people say it's to be banned. I'm not too salty about Warning. I'd say Warning is fine where it's at. And Torrential Tribute can go ahead and stay at 1. We tried it at 2, it definitely didn't work. I know a lot of people are like, oh, Pendulum, Pendulum, calm down, calm down. Everything is going to be fine, so you don't have to worry about Pendulums, okay? And I run 2 Mirror Force, despite D Prison being the better card. In this format, Mirror Force is to go ahead and protect me from just getting completely jumped. Like I said, this deck is a slower deck, so you know you don't always open up with plays, so you might have to stall a little while. So you might have to just hit your opponent with a Mirror Force. It's not, you know, people don't really see it coming because you know Mirror Force isn't being played, and still, I think it should still stay at 2. I'm not really a big fan of moving any back row right now, nor am I a big fan of bringing back Heavy Storm. I used to be, but nah, I'm fine without it, so we can just go ahead and keep Mirror Force like that. These two should actually be switched because it's more of a back row card, but 3 Fiendish Chain, you know, Fiendish Chain isn't the card that's being played right now. It's more Breakthrough Scale, especially with Breakthrough Scales reprint in the Lightsworn Structure deck, which is awesome. Now it's like a $3 to $4 card now, and it dropped from like $15, so that's better, so thanks Konami. But Fiendish Chain is really good. Like I said, deck is slow, so if need be, I can chain down a monster and it can't attack me. I can stall out for a little while, so that's good. Next, I run 3 Call of the Haunted. I was trying it at 2, I wasn't getting enough, so I decided to up it to 3 to get more consistency. You know, just being able to revive monsters from the graveyard, especially Wolfbark, now since it's at 1, just allows for some great plays to remain, you know, when my monsters get killed. Like, oh, you killed my bear, alright, we'll call the Hunted back and throw another chair at you. Or you killed my Wolfbark, or I used it for an Extreme material, oh, we'll call the Hunted back and, you know, use its effect on a later turn. So, Call the Hunt is definitely great. And Reckless Greed, like I said, the deck is slow, and Reckless Greed is just a really, really broke card at 3. Like, it should be limited to 1, definitely, because Reckless Greed being able to stack like that, even at 1 is still a really great card. Just being able to play it and be 2 turns ahead of your opponent, you know, those 2 turns can be the difference between winning and losing. It can be used offensively to gain more resources and try to OTK your opponent, or it can be used defensively to, you know, see 2 turns ahead and hopefully get out of the current situation you're in. So Restless Greed is just a great card, and I think it should be at 1, but as long as I don't put it down to 1, you might as well play it, right? Maybe if people play it enough, it might get recognized because they kind of forgot about it after, you know, what was it, the Dragon Rulers when they were at 3. That was kind of the era when Reckless Greed was at its prime, you know, Holding was at its prime, I believe. Or actually, it was actually the previous format, like the January format, right, where it was at its prime, but then it kind of fell off for this this April format. So maybe if we can play it enough, I mean, you might as well play it, break it, play it until you break it. It's as simple as that, you know. So. If you got extra room, I would recommend Reckless Greed over Upstart any day. You know, giving your opponent life points isn't very wise right now, especially with Soul Charge. But, you know, just being able to go Reckless, 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 draw a whole new hand is just a very powerful play. And I'd say that it's broke, but if Konami doesn't want to address it, I mean, this card has been at 1 before. So, also Upstart has, but Upstart's not as powerful. You know, you zero out. You know. This is a +1 if you know you don't mind to skip the next 2 draw phases, because you play 1 to draw 2, so it's like a pot of greed if you use it right. Alright, so now time for the extra deck. I run 1 Dweller, 1 Cardinal to put stuff back, 1 Tiger King, 1 Heartland Draco. I actually forgot about him in 1 duel, and I was like, wait, why the hell is Heartland Draco not in here? And that he can A, win me games, and B, have tankies. So, yeah. 1 Kagesuchi, 1 Emerald to put things back, 1 Diamond Dyer, 1 Exiton, 1 101, 2 Castel, because Castel is awesome, 1 Maestroke, 1 Black Ship, 1 Steel Sun Roach, and 1 Gaga Cowboy. And that's pretty much the +1 Fire Hand, Fire Fist, Hand Job, whatever we want to call it, deck profile. So, like I said, at 1:30 p.m. Pacific Time, 4:30 p.m. Eastern Time, you will be getting the new deck that will be on the lineup for Sunday. So, thank you guys for supporting this deck on Daily Duels and just supporting me in general. And I really appreciate and love you guys. So, thank you guys for watching. Thank you guys for all the support. And I will see you guys on the actual episode of Daily Duels today. Thanks for watching.